So hello there everybody, let's see who's joining tonight, and let's have some fun with our good old Doombringer. I'm actually playing this character class for the first time tonight, but I felt like the Doombringer sounded like a lot of fun when I was rolling Goblet of Challenge thingies again. Hey Joe, welcome! So, the description doesn't make it clear, but the perks of the Doombringer are all about on-hit effects, on-provoke effects, basically on-action effects are going to be amplified like crazy. Hi Hyorin! So we're having on-heal effects. Whenever my on-heal effects activate, the on-death effects activate as well. Wait a sec. After your creatures... Is that a global thing? We'll see. After my creatures on defend effects activate, their on provoke effects activate as well. This is very strange. I think these things only make sense as soon as you fuse several perks together. Before that, it doesn't sound like it's too useful to begin with. No, the Legend of Keepers thing is in 2 days from now, 28th, not 26th. Let me check. Did I write something wrong into the announcements? No, 28th. Two more days. I guess so. I mean, these guys wanted me to inform me that I can stream the game on Tuesday, the 28th. Check out your calendar. We're not alone with your confusion. So my attack and uncast effects trigger an additional time. 2 additional times. Fun. My on-heal, on-death, and on-resurrect effects trigger additional times. Enemies on critical and on-dodge effects have a chance to be ignored. Enemy attack effects have a chance to be ignored. Yep, exactly, Joe. Exactly. I was so close to writing these guys an email if they were really right about what they said, or which date is right, because I tend to be really... You can make me really uneasy with that stuff, but luckily in the press set it became clear. And it started to freak me out a tiny little bit. Okay, after my creatures on attack effects activate, my on resurrect effects activate. That's crazy. So we can really check out whatever we want. That's going to be a fun build today. I really think the Doombringer is a very versatile class to begin with. Hi Pop, welcome! My creatures have a chance to double the value of all their actions. What? 50%? That's, My on-critical and on-dodge effects trigger additional times. We've seen that quite often now. My creatures have 1% more stats, other than health, for each time their on-action effects activated in the current battle. Okay. Recklessness. On-buff, on-debuff, and on-minion effects have a chance to be ignored on the enemy side. So basically we have a 50% chance of ignoring all enemy traits that activate on the same conditions like my favorite traits activate. Pretty cool. Aw, sorry to hear that, man, but very happy that you're around tonight, Pub. My creatures on buff, on debuff, and on minion effects trigger... Yeah, it's... There's not much differentiation here. Basically, I can now assume that whenever I do something, I do it 3 times. When it comes down to on attack, on defend, or whatever traits, which sounds like a ton of fun, honestly. So let's see. What do we already have? Well, Hyorin, I think it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it does sound like a crazy strong specialization, like one that you can abuse way more than other specs. Well, don't be sorry, man. We were taking good care of your character. And the video on demand will go live in a few hours. I already uploaded and edited it, so... No problemo. So, what will we build there? I think I'm going to dive into my summoning thingy there. Now, let's start from the back side. After an enemy, that's not really interesting. Doombringer. And if somebody has ideas, please feel free to spam me with those. As usual, I'm happy about ideas. So, let's see. It's so crazy. I think you can combine the Doombringer with tons of different concepts. So the Gravebane White sounds like a great thing there. So after this creature dies, enemies take damage equal to 50% of its max health. Let's see. Well, I am only doing this whenever I play on the streams. So... I feel like this Gravebane White version here, that it sounds like a perfect fit to my setup. It has a undeath effect, and it has a unresurrect effect that spreads over to all creatures. So let's pick this guy up. I think this is a no-brainer somehow. Let's see, after my creature's on-heal effects, my on-death effects activate as well. So let's just... Now the only thing we would need would be a effect that triggers on the whole team whenever they are healed, basically. Hi Smurfs! Welcome! Prototype for Search is released. Awesome. Feel free to drop a link on the Discord or something like that. Wait a sec. Oh. How was I allowed to... Yeah, do it on the Discord. I have links disabled here for a good reason. Honestly. You never know what kind of weird people have... Thanks, Joe. And... let's see. It's looking sweet. I'm not going to check it out in detail now, but I have it open in the background. I'll check it out after the stream, okay? So... it's social. Last time I tried it with exclamation mark Discord and it didn't work. And I was like wondering what the command was. So after my creatures are attacked, they recover health. Okay. Hi, Cerno. It's hard to select because there's just so many creatures that we could use. Alright.
This is very personal.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks so much for the subscription, and Smurfs, welcome back to the subscription thingy there. So... it's going to be very, very difficult to decide for anything here. What's the Tanukrug? At the start of this creature's turns, it kills your other creatures and gains 30% of their stats. What? That's pretty good, actually. I have no clue, Smurfs. I have certainly no clue. The Doombringer it does basically triple every on-action effect. Like on provoke, on defend, on whatnot, and it's really, really hard for me to decide what to pick. You know, I just wanted to check out the spirits, so After my creatures are healed, they have a chance to move. Not that. After an enemy is resurrected? No. So after my creatures are healed, they gain 25% defense. We could use that. I don't know, Hjorn, if it doubles the Rift Dancer effects as well. Let's see. The Exalted Spirit... or Ancient Spirit. Whatever spirit we will need, I'll just see. I got several of those already. It's the first time that I have so many resources already allocated and just pick up whatever I want. So... we got... the barrier one. And we got that one. I think I'm rolling with the Exalted Spirit, which produces barriers and heals allies per attack. And now, let's see if I get it, if I'm not wrong about this. So, now we have somebody who's producing an effect when somebody is healed, and this guy is okay. What I want to do now is get into some zone and try out if that property actually triggers, because it's very theoretical for me now, and this sounds like it's stupidly strong, honestly. So this guy will defend, and let's see. This guy attacks, heals everybody. Wait a sec, why did he die? Somebody... what exactly happened there? There's no good reason for this guy dying. What? Wait a sec. Why did they die? I don't understand it. I don't really get the interaction here. I really don't understand what's happening there. This looks rather buggy to me, honestly. Cannibal Maniac. Quadruple stat boost every time it procs. Yeah, I thought the Valkyries looked like something we could use as well. But right now I'm trying to understand why my units died. Because honestly, that didn't make too much sense to me. After your other creatures are attacked by an enemy, this creature attacks the enemy for 50% normal damage. Anybody got an idea what just happened there? Because to me it doesn't make any sense. It's like the on-death effect of the white triggers automatically by killing him. It's the only thing that made sense for me. Maybe this guy is not you. Well, but oh yeah. So the enemy Plague Surgeon casted Void Flare. Was it the Void Flare effect killing one-shotting units? But that doesn't really make sense either. Let's try that a second time. I'm really profoundly confused right now. Now, attack. And, well... so... Yeah, it seems like it works. So... attack? But why the heck does it not... After this creature attacks, it heals allies for 50% of the damage dealt, but that didn't happen the last time. So this time, it happened. Why does it happen with a slight delay? So, attack. Shouldn't this work with the first attack? It's like, why is there a delay to that effect? Hi Cognito, welcome! Nice to see you. I really don't get what's happening here, because it seems like it's triggering a tad bit too late, but once it triggers, it works out perfectly fine. Okay, whatever, let's get back into there. So this instant kill effect was... Void Flare? What the heck is Void Flare, and why does it counter kill my units when I just touch the enemy? Questions and so little answers. Whatever, let's just get going here and select more creatures. The mechanism works, and that's what I wanted to see. So, now, Xers, Apocalypses, I mean, Arachnolisk, Azura. Well, a level 36 unit, a level 36 combat should not be able to one-shot my units, you know? And I'm still wondering why the healing effect triggers that late, but at least it worked and it didn't, it was not bugged, and we'll figure out the rest later. So, hi Yalda, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you, so many of you tonight. So, after an ally attacks, this creature afflicts the enemy with a random debuff. That sounds tasty. We could spread debuffs like crazy with that one. Yeah, let's do that. This sounds like a fun thing to do. I'm not about min-maxing here too much, but... well... yeah, nothing we could read out of the report for sure. Okay. Okay. Nothing too interesting here so far. Yeah, the first thing that crosses my mind is that the Doombringer is an insanely versatile specialization. After this creature attacks... oh man, it's not your fault, man, then when you have a power outage there, Yalda. So... when this creature attacks, it attacks an additional number of times equal to the number of spells your creature's casted since it last attacks. Oh yeah, the clutchers. But since I reduced the enemy's chance of dodging, it's not that valid, I think. We just pretend like Joe didn't say anything. What's my favorite race? Oh, that's really hard to tell, Zay. Too many to choose between. Too many to choose between. There are so many good things in this game. So, Diabolics. Ooh, I got a lot of extra new Diabolics. I should try and upgrade my Tribalist the other day. Cool. We're going to make a stream out of that again, too. Yes. Yeah, Zay, it's insane. It's always really hard for me to choose new teams, especially if they are so versatile like this class here. After this creature defends, your creatures recover 20% health for each buff they have. Nothing too interesting here. Ents, let's see. No, 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 no. The Forsaken, I don't like them too much. Gargoyles. Oh, it's just the chaos stuff there. After this creature attacks, it steals speed. Nothing I'm too interested in. After enemy is healed. Alright, Serino, see you soon. Enjoy your evening or whatever's ahead of you. Last episode I mostly built up the Fortress Yalda. So we had a few fights, but nothing too special. Seamus died. We had to resurrect him. So far, nothing too special crossing our way. Have fun, Cognito. Griffins, they need griffins or it doesn't work too well. Your grimoires cast spells one additional time. Minion summoners, not too interested. Let's see. The hounds are all about minion thingies, so yes, Jorn, it does. It multiples all on resurrection effects, basically. Hunters sound like crazy with this setup too. Inquisitors, no. Ooh. Let's see. What did I fuse that Oculum Leech? Please add the Buffet Phoenix. I think I already had one of those. Let's see. Yeah, here. After my creatures kill an ally, my creatures are resurrected. After my creatures are resurrected, enemies take damage to this creature's speed. Yes, we're going to take this guy with us, just like you want me to. And beyond that, let's see. What did I want to check out again now? I know there was something. Ah, yeah, the Oculum Leech. No, I got it. The Oculum Leech. Leech. Here. Oh, I haven't fused it yet. Awesome. Okay. We're definitely going to pick up the Oculum Leech. But first, let me check out what we can combine the Slurping Bat with. After an ally attacks, this creature afflicts the enemy with a random debuff. Yeah, that sounds like fun. But I really want to add something extra into that. We were with the leeches, though. Lich, leper, leech. Now, let's see what we can combine that with. So, stat boosters, I love those. I always like to have some sort of stat boosting mechanism in my builds because I feel like this is a valuable asset for long-lasting combat situations. So let's take this guy and that guy, and there we go. Come here, beauty. Okay, now gonna be turning off the camera for a few minutes. Gonna be right back, friends. With the camera, I mean. Okay. In case you're wondering, I just don't want to promote vaping on camera because I know that Twitch, aka Amazon, has really weird rules that I don't want to collide with, you know. Well, Joe, you know me well. You know me well. I don't know, maybe it would be okay for Twitch, but, you know, rather be careful. It's one of my income sources. No vaping, but you can wear a bikini in a hot tub. If I had a hot tub, I would wear a bikini, and I would also turn on the camera for everybody to see. We could add that crazed leper into the combo. Like, that could be fun, because we're spreading debuffs like crazy on our enemies. Let's try that. I like the idea. Because basically, this guy is spreading debuffs like crazy. Whenever somebody in my formation attacks, there will be debuffs raining on the enemies. I like that idea. I like that Corpse Explosion Leper all the way already, so... Oh, I also got 2 of those. Nice. Okay. So... I think that's also a good fit with that Slurping Bat. It's a good combo. Good synergy. So there's only one more slot left. Wow, that goes crazily fast here. This leper, I finished the base plotline with it, actually. When I was playing Necromancer, this guy really carried me through basically the whole main story. I can only recommend that fella. I really don't have too many maniacs left in my... Did I really never restock on those? Wow. Quite surprised. Oh yeah, gotta summon that mimic, just to be gathering new knowledge about these. You know, whenever there's a mimic available, you have to summon it, and they are just that useful, in my opinion, at least. So, mummies. Mummies do also have a funny thing. Okay, Mummy Lord. That's only good after the enemies are already cursed. Okay. The Nixes, they counter enemies in several different ways. Offense. Assains, here we go. I already got the Dusk Assains effect there. Thanks for mentioning that one, Hyorin. But I think I will go for the unicorns, actually, to implement some sort of automatic resurrection. Because I feel like that's something where we are weak right now. But let's see, I have one unicorn vivifier already with me. He's not even fused yet. Great. We're going to find a good fit among the other unicorns. Yeah, I think, Yarn, the problem with this setup is there are so many opportunities to take, and I am afraid only a handful of them is really strong. And many of them are fun, but not really strong, if you get my idea. I think I'm going to be boring and go with the Consecrator, because that's just, we get a AoE heal, a triple resurrect, and the AoE heal will trigger the white like crazy. Basically, this team should nuke the heck out of the enemies by just attacking, because they should trigger the white's ability a lot, but let's see. I don't know if that's really going to happen. We're going to try that out, nevertheless. Okay, now level up these guys. And go for artifactos. The real important thing here is, I think we're just going to roll straight up with my swords here. I don't have too many swords yet, but let's see. Back. Now. These swords are all pretty crappy, I know, but it doesn't matter too much. There we go. Pure attack-based formation. Let's see how it'll work out. So, creatures. Strategy is provoke on that guy. Attack, 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 attack. Okay, there we go. Now, highest depth. Highest depth. Come on, let's go. Okay. Ow! This ruddy imp shaman. Do we even get to act before they do? Okay. So I immediately resurrected everybody, which is good. They're receiving tons of buffet attacks. My Oculum Leech is attacking like crazy, but it doesn't do anything. What the heck is happening? Why is this going so super bad? Like, my creatures are not even acting right now. What? Enemies are level 526, but that was a very, very... I don't know. I'm not used to enemies nuking like that. That's more what I'm used to. Like, some action at the beginning, but not like nuking my entire team as the first action like crazy. There we go. Yeah, that's acting out more like it. So the buffet skill seems to trigger like most often. So buffet was scaling off of the creature's speed. So possibly I should just amp up the speed of that phoenix like crazy, because that seems to trigger very, very often. And it seems like this formation is a little bit squishy. Well, I'm gonna say the Doombringer's traits weren't really amping up the resilience in any meaningful way, so I'm not too surprised. Also, I am 50 levels below below the enemies, but yeah, that's more like it. That's more like what I was expecting to happen there. Exactly. There we go. Hi Ash, welcome! That would be a pretty nifty thing there, Hjorin. Well, I gotta say, I just wanted to try if these things just work, you know, for the sake of working. Oh, we are going to check that out. I want to create an artifact that is scaling on speed for that fella, for sure. That's what we're going to do when we hit town afterwards, but for now, let's just see where the master of this realm is. I also noticed that the game is going to be updated soon with version 0.9 and more endgame content, and what really made me happy to see was that when your creatures are receiving lots and lots of stat buffs, the more stat buffs you gain, the game starts to scale up the speed. Like, if there are too many stat buffs happening at the same time, you don't have to wait that long. A turn-based RPG where you collect monsters, fuse them together, form new formations, and oh my god, it's yes, you can farm a lot with in this game. So basically, every monster you encounter, you can put into your own formations. There's like around 30 character classes which have unique skill trees. And there's a base building aspect as well, and yeah. Yeah, Zay, I was running a stat boosting compo a couple of streams ago, and it was really good, except for the fact that you had to wait and wait and wait for the combo to resolve, which was really horrible because that was one of my few compos that was able to beat tier 5 realm instabilities, so I don't know if I was talking about that yesterday, Ash. Sorry. Alright, we did it. That was a good start. Alright, here we go. So the initial thing that happened there was just a very unlucky situation to begin with. But what we're seeing now is just magnificent. We got so many free nukes just happening by auto-attacking. I love it. I simply love it. So where's the exit here? There. Because there are a few things I want to improve on. I definitely want to increase the buffet, and also I think I'm going to equip the white with a health boosting artifact, because after all his damage is scaling off of his HP. So let's see, I think I got one here, a helmet there. There you go, buddy, go forth and conquer. And the Phoenix one, let's see, did I already build a speed one? No, not yet. Okay, so we have to do that. This is the game that you could show the day before lunch. No, that's Legend of Keepers. That's going to be happening in 2 days from here. I put it into the announcements on the Discord server, but obviously the announcements section doesn't work too good if nobody has realized it so far. I gotta be working on that. Maybe we do a opt-in role for that as well, like opt-in role for news announcements. I don't know. For me, it's very important to keep the Discord server not annoying for everybody who's joining it. My worst nightmare would be to have the Discord server as something where people jump out of because they think it's annoying to hang around there, because they get spammed or something like that. Well, we're going to see to that. But for now, we're going to talk and spread news via that. Okay, so we amped out the speed of that guy and the health of the other guy, and let's see how much that'll change. Alright. Ooh, the Buffett nukes. Completely different way now. Oh yeah. 23k. Let's do this. Oh, we already finished the realm quest. That was quick. Right now I'm also forcing the progress a little bit more because I felt like lately I felt like reaching the end game, and there's still one feature I haven't unlocked, and that's the God Gates or something like that. I don't know. Something that happens at a way lower depth. So here we go. Vivifier's resurrecting like crazy, and this guy is somehow... Why is he doing that? After an enemy is resurrected, this creature attacks 2 times. I see. How about just dying a little bit, my friend? Or, well, we die. Not. Holy moly. The damage. Yeah, that's what happens if you just don't give a damn about the enemy's skills and just press E and hold E. Which one, Hyoran, you're talking about? So that's really going pretty well here. I like what's happening here so far. Let's see if we're able to fill the goblet of challenges here. Oh, that looks like the master here. The Sin Master. Well... We're talking about the counterattack white? Or which one? Bang! This is working out so well there. Alright, cats are pretending like they want to fight. Frostbite white. Well, I don't know, lately I didn't feel like these resurrection things were that useful. So why are these guys allowed to attack? After an enemy gains stats. I see. Let's nuke that fella. That explains a lot. So, things I do notice to begin with. This build is a lot squishier than my usual builds I'm running. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I am quite happy if things are not that extremely brain dead, if you get my idea. God, this is so destructive. So what we would need now would be an effect that spreads the debuffs on every enemy somehow. That would be really fun. Like we got that bat which puts the debuffs on the enemies, but now we would need something to spread the debuffs. Also, I decided to farm out this level a little bit more, because my creatures are underleveled towards the enemies, and, you know, we might do something against that by farming a little bit more here. Since things are working out as intended, let's just use the summoning candle. Maybe we get lucky and farm 1 or 2 new cards tonight. That would be really good. Yeah, I really dig that. Thanks for recommending the Phoenix there, Hyoran. This is like one of the best things we had. After my creatures are resurrected, enemies take damage to the speed. Yeah. The first fuse is rather useless. I think I should create myself a new Buffett Phoenix and fuse him with something else, because I honestly don't think that's a good fusion there. In the tavern shop? That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I was checking out the this shop the other day, and there were quite a few interesting critters in there. The day lately I have discovered my first card which actually did something. I was so super happy when I saw that. Alright, so my verdict so far about Doombringer is, oh my god, this is a very, very cool and versatile spec. I am really wondering if it is not a really good beginner spec as well, because, you know, you won't be needing too many skill points or perk points to do something very specific with. Like getting something like here, my creatures on attack and on casts effect trigger additional times. That's just 100 perk points, but with such a massive effect. I feel like that could be a really good starter class. I don't know if that's a thing, but I got that distinct feeling like the Doombringer is really easy to understand, really easy to apply, and very effective in its ways. I do like that. I really do like that already. But so far there has not been a single specialization in this game that hasn't been fun to play, which is quite impressive, I gotta say. Oh, I just realized my leper should not be wielding a attack artifact. He should definitely have a intelligence artifact. Otherwise his corpse explosion spells are really weak, just as they are right now. Mistakes have been made, but that's okay. Oh my god. Cast on attack, cast on provoke or defend, yeah. What's really confusing me though is, why is the Buffet skill actually triggering that often? Because my creatures are not actually getting resurrected, you know? They're not dead. It seems like that effect is triggering even though the creatures are not actually dead. Which doesn't seem right to me, honestly. It doesn't feel completely right to me, if you understand my idea. Okay, let's see. I love these. Wine Gel, Vodka, Whisko, Volperi. Okay, let's see. Rye Trap, Scotchpion. After an enemy afflicted with a debuff. My personal favorite is still the Lagergoyle. I don't know why, but this is one name that really amuses me to no end. Well, the Grenale is also pretty good. But doesn't seem like there's anything we could use for that specific idea. Let's see, maybe from this shop there's something? After this creature attacks, your target deals 100 damage to all your creatures now. Well, the tavern shop thingies, they are very special. In a good way. Sadly, nothing we can do with that either. Well, whatever. I think I just buffed my team a little bit more again. There we go. Still wondering why that Buffet skill fires off that often. Which one was the Broken Heart again? I didn't pay attention close enough, Jorn. I really like that one where you gain 10% of the enemy's stats just by killing an enemy. Lots of procs on 6 inch. Okay. Well, right now we're at the spot where we would need to fuse our new shards into the artifacts the creatures wield, and I am overall a little bit reluctant to use these, because I swap teams quite often due to my streams, and also to use the Goblet of Trials a lot. And yeah. No, that was not all my creatures. It was every enemy attacks a random enemy. You probably misread that one. I was looking at that one as well, and it's I got to check out if I misread it, but I'm pretty sure it was enemies attack enemies. We're going to check that out once we're there. Oh, there's the summoning candle again. Let's do this. Yeah, the Nether boss. The Nether boss traits are all something really special. I like them a lot. Good lord. This is way stronger than I anticipated it to be. Especially if I consider it just a very, very generic build for the Doombringer. Nothing too specialized. I think you could do way more specialized things with that class as well. Which one was that thing which put the which gave you 200% speed but put you at the bottom of the list? That sounded like something I want to pick up there as well. Alright, the Eft Master. I think that was the first time that I saw Efts in action. Well, allocating F knowledge on all these enemies shows me that I am absolutely right. It was the first time that I saw them in action. My god. I like that. This is a very comfy way of progressing here. So far I got the feeling like once you are deep enough in the game, it's pretty easy to build progress combos. The other day I had another quest where or another Goblet of Trials where I had to play the Tribalist again, and I was playing just demonic hordes, all equipped with Planet's Gem. We just were nuking the heck out of those. Spine Whipper. Okay, we're going to check that out. Trade name contradiction. Well, the question is, do I have it as an item? Because I can't fuse it into these enemies. Or wait a sec, I can't do because never mind. I wanted to create myself a new Buffet Phoenix anyways. So this should definitely work. Because I feel like I don't need this guy in any way acting early or something like that. Quite the opposite is the case. It's better if he doesn't act on his own at all, because his whole purpose in this squad is passive. So I really like this. And I think it wouldn't be unwise to create such an artifact simply because I feel like there are so many creatures which benefit solely from stacking up speed like crazy. A lot of those bats, for example, work like that as well. Oh, I'm still waiting just for that friggin' treasure golem. My prophecies are a little bit full. Oh yeah, more favor, that's always good. So I'd say we were busy enough here to leave, but I actually didn't find the teleporter yet. Well, I'm quite okay with beating a few enemies a lot more than I need to, because for one, we create lots of opportunities to farm items with that, and beyond that, gaining experience is very valuable too. I'm not too sure how this build will fare against another boss though, because these guys do die quite quickly. So let's see. You guys said it was a spine whipper. Let's see. Definitely not what we were looking for. So you guys know what the creature's name is we're looking for? I guess somebody can tell me. Just going to look for it myself in the meantime, but... Snap traps. Well... It has been removed. Oh, dang. Well, we're going to see what we can do. Empty trait slot. So, trait name was contradiction. Maybe the item is called Spine Whipper. Sadly, no. Well, let's check out if I misread that thingy there. So yeah, each enemy attacks a random enemy. So it would start enemies to attack each other. You found it, Smurfs? Forsaken. Ah, it's one of the Forsakens. Now that makes sense. So we're going to fuse this one. Ah, yeah, this is going to be quite a good match. Thank you. Let's check it out. If I got that Forsaken though first. F and G here. Spine Whipper. Contradiction. Yeah, we got it. This creature starts battle with 200% more speed, but also starts battles at the bottom of the timeline. Perfect. Perfect fit for that Phoenix. Thank you guys so much for pointing that one out, because I gotta say, I highly doubt that I would have come up with this myself. But I love the combo. It's a really good one. Phoenix. No! Oh man. I don't have one of those anymore. Yeah, Hjoran, I was a little bit disappointed as well, because I actually thought about the same thing as you did, but when I saw that. Oh no, why? It's this guy fused right now. Okay. Didn't summon the second one, maybe? No. Oh, not too bad. Alright, we got a goal here. We have to pick up new phoenixes. So let's check out which realm features phoenixes. At least we can look this up here. Here, Great Pandemonium. We're going to dip right into that to grab ourselves a new buffed phoenix, because I feel like the combination of that Spine Whipper dude and the phoenix will be just glorious. So, we need to find the haunted chest and summon invaders. Okay. Oh yeah, another Krampus. Bang. Oh, this is oh, the Ifrit Master. Still waiting for the Pyromancer on the Goblet of Trials. I'm so looking forward to that one, because I gotta say, this sounds like one of the most fun combos to play with ever. I'm so looking forward to that one. Alright. Now, only thing that's really bothering me is the resilience part of that build. I think we need to install a few resurrection gems on the squad to make sure that we're able to deal with enemies like these. Where we just have to suffer big losses during a fight. Because basically right now, if the unicorn dies, I think I got no other way of dealing with enemies. And that's quite bad. Oh, another realm. Okay. Wait a sec, a Mogwai? There's a lot of crazy new creatures popping up the deeper I go. Okay, the damage of this creature's attacks and the potency of this creature's spells is based on its speed. This would be a perfect fit as a last piece into this Phoenix thing. Then it would be even strong while attacking. Alright. Oh, we can summon that Mogwai thing right away. Neat. I didn't expect that, honestly. I thought we would have to beat it several times before I can summon it. Nice. What really amused me, though, was that the dev actually mentioned in his new patch notes that he was removing a lot of this cringy humor out of his game because a lot of people didn't like it. I gotta say, when I read that, I felt a deep respect for that developer, because, you know, if you're willing to just tune down your own humor because people obviously don't like it, that's really cool. Rewritten 90% of the dialogue. Really? That much? Well, I think that's a really impressive trait, because this guy takes criticism quite serious, and that's a good thing. I mean, I personally like that cringy humor. I like games where the main character is more like a joke than anything else, but it's just me. Alrighty. So for some reason, the resurrection effect of the Phoenix does trigger more often than I thought. Maybe I don't want to give away the Phoenix there. It's acting out rather weird with the on-death effects and such, and on-healing effects. Especially the on-resurrection skills are acting wacky. Yeah, exactly, Hjörin. I also felt like, well, it's a little bit of an immature humor, but I don't know. Sometimes I like immaturity. Immaturity can be fun as well. Not often, but for me, well, whatever. I still feel like it's a big feat to step back from yourself and keep doing this. Alright, we're... Oh, dang, I need to stop going into Pandemonium that much. Yeah, well, Smurfs, I've seen so many really arrogant developers in the last few years that made obviously horrible choices but stuck to them because they were artists, or the players just didn't play the game right, or the players just didn't support their vision of the game correctly. BS like that. Day of Dragons? Should that ring a bell? I'm profoundly confused. Developer code banned some players for... Oh, okay. Well, for me, one of those games was, how was it called again? The Door in the Woods. Door in the Woods. That was one roguelike game that could have been so good. Pretty minimalistic horror roguelike. And basically, it's simply explained, the developer was just not willing to implement a feature that autosaved the game when you turned it off. So basically, whenever you turned off the game, you quit the game at the same moment. And the developer was like, oh, the game is designed to be played in one session, and if you don't have time to finish your session, well, not my problem, or I don't know. Like, so many... He was afraid that people were cheating on the game if he would implement some safe game mechanic. And without a safe game mechanic, it's impossible to cheat around that. But I gotta say, if people want to cheat around with a game, it's their own problem, I gotta say. If you want to cheat the game you're playing, please do it. You're ruining your own fun and nobody else's fun. And yeah, this alongside with a few other horrible choices made me kind of like regret that I spent money for that game, because I really didn't feel like that was a fair thing to say to players. But well, that's just how it works sometimes. Wow, they're not dying immediately. Do you see that? We're actually using our skills more often. So, okay. Yeah, cheat if you want is a thing, you know? Alright, Shackler. Another nether boss approaches. Let's check him out first. This creature is immune to damage from attacks and spells. In addition, this creature is resistant to debuffs. Seriously? Ugh. So I need to install a insta-death mechanism to defeat that boss? Boring! Seriously, that's a really, really boring thing. Pretty sure that's... Wait a sec. He's still dying to the White's Woe effect? Because they lose life and they... Wait, no. Take damage too. So obviously trade damage is no attack or spell damage. Duh. Well, It's not a problem at all, Smurfs. But, okay, everything has been managed already. And welcome to the Discord, by the way. Yeah, I was pretty surprised about it working that easy, but... okay. Good lord. We're smacking them. Shackler's chains. Your shades share their innate traits with each other. What do shades do? Pretty sure it doesn't have anything to do with sunglasses. So, shade. Or do I... Shambler. Looks like that's god creatures. Okay. Now, there was exactly nothing I wanted to do here because I figured that I wanted to keep that that Phoenix because it obviously... oh, please. Next dungeon I need to remember that I wanted to pick up other creatures because obviously the other Phoenix is resurrecting my team that well, I don't want to get rid of him. Jeez, Ash, doesn't that drive you somewhat crazy? I would be going crazy if I had two voices on separate ears. Well, you can always watch the video on demand of my streams, Ash. Don't you worry. You don't need to hang around here if you don't feel like you have the time. I wouldn't mind at all. But I certainly feel flustered by that. Doesn't that make it easier again if one stream is saying it in Spanish and the other one in English? Just asking. This is also how to train your personal insanity resistance. Alrighty guys, it's time for the almighty tea break. I'm gonna be back in a sec. Oh my god. This tea was 1 hour old. Oh my god. So just... Now, I really want to remember the next time I go down here to change the actual tile set, because I only went here to acquire some Phoenix, which I haven't acquired yet at all. Okay, maybe I should stay here a little bit longer. Yeah, the camera went off for a second again. Following my bad habits a little bit more. Gotta say, vaping was one of the things that really helped me with quitting smoking for good. Because it meant that I didn't have to abandon the ritual completely. But the good thing about vaping is it doesn't burn anything, so no cancerous substances are released and... or carcinogenics. That's what I'm And that's actually what was the really important thing for me. That and the addiction problems. Because tobacco addiction is really vicious, gotta say. Now, where's the exit? Well, depends. I'm not vaping any liquids or something like that. It's just plant matter. And basically it's just distilling out the fluids out of the plant. I mean, sure, that's by no means healthy, but it's not even close to what burning materials would do to your body. This is just inhalating like you would inhalate herbs or anything else. You can do that with any aromatic herbs that have substances that are just separating from the plant when you heat them, like basil or peppermint or whatever. Oh no! Well, Ash, according to that logic, walking next to a street is already pretty deadly, because you're inhalating the leftovers from tires that are driving right next to you. That's just, our world is full of whoa, toxics. Okay, that looked like a damage reflecting thing. Stay dead. What was that trait? Somebody care looking up what the stay dead trait is? Because I sure would be interested what the heck that did. I mean, it could be the case that my creature's level is by now really too low for those enemies. After an enemy is resurrected, this creature deals damage to all enemies equal to 40% of its intelligence. So it seems to me like this formation just triggers the on-resurrect effects even though the creatures are not dead, which is weird. I thought that would not be possible, but obviously it is. Oh, I think I forgot to give the leper a intelligence artifact, didn't I? No, I didn't. Okay. Here. It's really, really weird that all these on-resurrect effects are triggering even though there's nothing to be resurrected. Well, this one was just dealing 40% damage for every resurrect, and obviously my build chain resurrects like crazy. I mean, every buffet trigger is one resurrect, and... Just very confused about the fact that I'm triggering all these resurrects even though nobody is dead. I don't know if the dev ever would be watching this. I consider it honestly a bug. Let's see how strong this tea is. I forgot it for about an hour in the kitchen, but usually, I don't know. I drink those teas in whatever condition they are. I'm not that picky. It sure doesn't taste like Earl Grey too much anymore, though. The underlying tea itself is way more dominant than the aroma now. Okay, whatever. Ooh. So there are certain things that just one-shot counter this build. That's something we have to accept, obviously. But beyond that, I really like that. I'd really like to start drinking tea instead of so much coffee. Yeah, that was basically me a while ago. I was drinking way too much coffee every day. It was latte macchiato. I was like drinking like at least 1 liter of milk per day, at least. And I really felt like I wanted to stop with that insane milk consumption. I was partially concerned about carcinogenics in there, but now I know that that's not really a thing. But nevertheless, it is not really good for your body to consume so much milk, because milk is basically like a superfood, and you're growing fat really quickly with when you're consuming too much milk every day. So will that scorn wear off one day, or are we now trapped forever in a scorn loop? Well, there are so many types of tea. Okay, we're stuck in a permanent loop of scorn. Who's doing that? Somebody spreading scorn by default? No, it's just a friggin' spell. So if it's a spell, it should not have endless charges. Why are we... Sometimes I find it really hard to understand what's happening and why it's happening. I really got no clue how the heck they permanently apply that scorn effect on my team. It's no trait, so I assume it must stop at some point, but obviously it doesn't. Good night, Cognito. Happy that you had the time to stop by this time. I got no clue what's happening here. It must be one of these bajillion spells they cast, but I'm just too lazy to figure it out. Okay, so let's install some gems if we have to. They wanted me to install some gems. Was not my idea. No, no. Well, the good thing about tea, in my personal opinion, is that there are so many different flavors to choose from that it's really hard to not find something you like. I love wild cherry aroma. I know that it's a industrially produced aroma, but I really like the taste of it nevertheless. Pretty crazy for that. So I really do realize that progression is going slower from here on. Okay. Gray staves. Okay. So basically every effect that does something bad on resurrection kills and breaks this compo. Hooray, mimics! Always love to meet me some mimic. Also, I haven't understood why that barrier creating effect is only kicking in that late. This I feel like the Doombringer doesn't work smoothly mechanically, because actually what should happen all the time is that every healing should be transformed into a barrier, and whenever it's not like whenever the spirit attacks that there are barriers spreading on all creatures. So wow. Well, tea is one wonderful topic for me to be happy about. Dryads. Oh. We had some dryads lately. Yeah, good tea is expensive like crazy, I know. Your dryads buffs and minions last forever. Neat. With tea you can easily spend so much money per pound. It's insane. Alright. It's looking good here so far. I think we are on a good way of filling the Goblet of Trials one more time. The thing is about expensive tea though, it's so much worth it. It's crazy, you know? I've had so good times with Costi tea. Imported from Japan, I see. Well, most tea is produced in the Asian regions. My cats are going wild out there. Ah, I was wondering why the combat was not resolving. Alright. Yeah. Now that I played longer, I really feel like I don't want to stick with this concept forever. Because I feel like there's so much more we can do with it. But it's always good to follow just your first hunch with these builds. But it also somehow really feels like it's not interacting properly. Don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong about that. These Abaddon guards are friggin' tanky. Just die already, you. Like, seriously. Why is it so tanky, though? Ah, they take less damage for every person they are missing. Stupid little buggers. The lower they get, the harder they are to kill. Achievement earned Ultimate Nemesis. What's that? 250 packs of Nemesis creatures. So 15% of the perks unlocked after 180 hours. So we can multiply that by 6, which would make 600 plus 480, so 1,100 hours theoretically, but that's not a realistic number because in no way you can acquire the last few achievements in the same time as you acquire the first few achievements. So €1 per cup. Nice. Another mimic! I love the Spider Realm. If you want to go mimic farming, Spider Realm is way to go. For example, we have now a triple chance of resurrecting units. And does it happen? Not at all. Not a single time. I really feel like this the Doombringer is messing up the chances and stuff like that. But that's okay. It works out decently enough. So 576. We're 75 levels below, roughly. That's a lot. That's quite a lot. Oh my god, I can't wait until to find that card from the Abaddon Guards. They really annoy me already. There are certain enemies which are less fun to farm compared to others. There we go. Really looking forward to the Legend of Keepers full release, honestly. Was trying out the game today one more time and realized how much fun I think it is, actually. Now. Jeez. So, that's not looking too good here, isn't it? Let's do the resurrection trick. Always a good one. Oh yeah, now I know again what I wanted to do. Oh, come on. Leave me alone with your sworn things. Alright. Let's hope I'll remember it before I forget it. Let's hope I remember it when I leave this place. That's what I wanted to say. So where's the phylactery? I want to equip the Phoenix with a artifact that enables him to gain the... what's it called again? The arcane trait at the beginning of a fight. Ah, here we go. Now I just need to find the master of this place. Oh, I didn't want that. Because I feel like giving this creature an opportunity to spam at least a spell at the beginning of the fight sounds like something more useful after all. There we go. So whenever I'm on my deepest of my depth right now, I really don't want to skip out on the master fight, because I feel like these master fights, they are really, really important and profitable. Because the mastery here, not only do you gain cool trinkets, you also gain stat bonuses against the races. That's pretty good. Or stat bonuses for your own creatures when they are of that race. And therefore, I really don't want to skimp out on those opportunities ever. Okay. Wanna die already, Mr. Shadow? Thank you.
This is very personal.
Oh! Thank you, Joe. And welcome back to the subscribers, Sylvie. Welcome back, Hyorin. So, what's your snack? Tell me. Okay, the Steel Storm doesn't really do anything on this level. We really have to amp it up. And so many thanks for your generosity, Joe. Thank you so much. Little meatballs. Oh man, I'm jelly. I had some fish tonight. Why are we not hurting that thing? Immune to debuffs and takes 50% less damage. Blur. I really don't like this realm too much, honestly. For some reason, it It frightens me. Yeah, stuff like that just happens so often here. We just get nuked and I don't know why. Honestly. Enemies tend to avoid damage quite often here as well. So, attune Triumvir to this fella. And upgrade our Steel Storm spell. Here. Wait a sec. First upgrade. There we go. And then enchant. So we should have potency based on speed. Exactly. I think that's a very, very vital thing to use. Generous is not that important. Damage increased by person sounds really good too. And defense penetration, why not? Yeah, the relics are supposed to receive a little bit of an overhaul in the next patch though, in terms of getting a lot stronger. Because right now, the attacks from the artifacts aren't really scaling too well, and the next patch is supposed to change that. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. That's better, isn't it? And we don't use any charges here. Very good. Ah, yeah, that's what I wanted to have. Wonderful. Let's turn that into a regular strategy. I feel like that's upgrading his behavior by a ton. There we go. I love it how I have always, when I play this game, the feeling like I'm polishing my compo a lot along the way. Like, while you're playing, you're discovering a little bit of that. You're noticing that idea, you're noticing that this thing doesn't work as good as it could, then you're noticing another thing that seems to be a perfect fit to what you're doing, and before you take a look at the clock again, 2 hours have passed. I love this about this game. Oh, and also I wanted to ask my dear audience how interested you would be in a Path of Exile stream from my side. I'm pretty good at this game, and I only stopped playing Path of Exile because I personally got bored of it myself when I was playing it alone. And I didn't have any feeling of purpose with this game, but honestly, streaming it for you guys would give me a completely new perspective of purpose for Path of Exile. Just wanted to know if there's any audience for it. Because the new season started only a week or such ago, or two, so it would be really good time to get back into the game right now. Because I really don't like to start into the game when there's when the season which is being played right now is already older, because in that time the trading is really stale, and you know that you're facing a server reset quite soon. The game is a bit much for you, but you come to hang out and chat. What you exactly mean with much for you? I'd really like to know. I don't understand that too much here. Pieces of 8. No, Path of Exile, of course. Because I know that I got some action RPG aficionados here, so felt like that could be a good idea. But if most of my homies here are like, nah, not interested in that game. Oh, the cat nether realm. I like that one. Volpertinger Master. I really like what I did with that Steel Storm spell. Skill tree is on a whole different level. Yes and no, actually. It's way less complicated than it looks like, to be honest, Smurfs. The thing is, you always look at what you want to play, and you skill according to that. And at some point, you are really noticing that it's way less complicated than it looks like. I see. But the whole skill tree thing, well, I don't know how much they changed recently. Oh, he's finally. I was waiting for you. Die. Let's see what kind of mean things the god of this realm has to say to me. I have to read this out loud. Battered, bruised, and mangled beyond recognition, the treasure golem slumps to the ground. With each ragged, shuddering breath it takes, you realize that it will suffer a long and painful death. If I'd known your greed would someday cause you to commit such an act of treachery, I would have gladly given you a portion of my own wealth in order to preserve the life of such a happy-go-lucky creature. Shame on you. I love that. I love that humor. Seriously, that guy has a way of making me laugh, which always, I like that. I still have to beat the baby golem, which is empowered by Torun. That baby treasure golem that tries to go revenge on you. So far, the most dangerous fight I have found in the game. I think I even streamed that. It gives every unit a minion, every enemy unit a minion, which makes laser beams shoot out of the eyes of the creature every time my creatures take an action. So basically, every time I do something, my whole team gets an AoE nuke. Yeah, Yarn, that's the fun part about it. I like it because it confronts us with all the things we do for treasure. Although, of course, it's a little bit mean because we don't really have any chance to do anything differently. Here goes my new Rune of Prophecies. 20k piety. Nice. It was more of a coincidence that I had all the runes together there. But I'm always happy when I get that coincidence. Furnace. Okay. Oh, Torun. Torun Realm. Was just talking about you. I love that. This is what happens when you donate something to him. I like Torun. You gain 0 favor. He's the only god that gives you 0 favor when you donate something to him. But you still... I think there's still an achievement for donating to him anyways, so I still do it. At least on Siralim 3 there was. So this nether boss will be the last encounter for today's stream, and then I'm going to turn off streaming for today. And well, after I've got so much positive resonance about Path of Exile, I guess I will give it a download again. Path of Exile is a wonderful game for me to chill out if I don't know what to play. That's why I was saying it. Also, it has a really wide audience. It might be a little bit hard to shine between that, but I feel like it might be also a good opportunity to find new people joining our crowd here. Let's see. There we go. Or maybe instead I'll just keep streaming indie action RPGs. Tempting. But definitely needs... I get the hunger for action RPGs again. Imps! Okay. There we go. At the start of battle, your imps gain shell bust. Your imp's shell bust now targets all enemies potency is not penalized for being ethereal. Still got no clue what Shellbust actually does. I only know that the imps are scaling around that spell a lot. Always forget to look it up. Okay. Let's check out the boss. Furness greets you with the longest belch you've ever heard in your life. Real classy. Give me every last drop of booze in your purse and I'll let you live. Okay. So, we're fighting a drunkard. Nice. This creature has access to all booze spells. I love it that some nether bosses are more like a joke than like really meant to be super deadly or such. Oh, wait a sec. I mean, this doesn't make this guy harmless at all. Ah, we messed it up. Didn't get an opportunity to resurrect my folks. The thing about these nether boss encounters is also it's so friggin' random if you get through the fight successfully or not, because there's always a different combo of enemies behind that, and you never know what's accompanying that boss. But I always feel quite happy if I die in that way, because I already had the master encounter, and therefore I got a free level of mastery. I can just gain yet another one on that level, which is cool. I always love to grind out some mastery. But I really want to beat that boss. Alright. I feel like that Steel Storm was a really good fit for the Phoenix after modding it to be a speed-based gem. I really love it how you can adapt all those spells to your situation. We now got since we got a speed-based creature, we can make the spells also be speed-based. It's really lovely. What I really feel fun about this game that, as a matter of fact, pretty much everything is possible, and therefore it's not even too surprising to have all these options, but they are implemented in a way that for me it's always fun and it feels like fulfilling to combine these things, even though, you know, you can basically link every spell to every attribute and to every class. There's a resource for everything. Turn your life spells into death spells, chaos spells, whatever. There's a means to an end for everything, but at the same time it still feels very fulfilling to find that certain combo which makes sense, to come up with that one idea that really does the trick quite well. That's something where I feel like Siralim Ultimate really performs extraordinary good. Like, a lot of very popular titles are not performing that well on this department. Mimics still take forever, sadly. There we go. Still very happy about every mimic I encounter, because that means I can summon one new mimic one day soon. Alright. Let's see if we can beat that alcoholic nether boss this time. Already very curious about his skill as well. I love me some direct nukes. Carbuncle Master. Okay. If all the creatures in your party are carbuncles, their innate traits grow stronger twice as fast. Thanks for the follow, 5-piece. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you. Dang. So let's see also how far we got with the Goblet of Trials. Shouldn't be too much anymore. Alright, so the Doombringer was a really successful and fun project again. Oh, we're scorned again. Ugh. Yeah, let's reincarnate that friggin'.
This is very personal.
Hey Joe, thanks man. Found your videos on YouTube playing Amazing Cultivation. Yeah, well, ACS is one of my long-term favorites by now. And the newest series is a lot of fun for me as well, because right now the good sect is, for me, the first time that I kind of like know how the game works, and it's super nice to try to optimize myself way harder than usual. It's really cool. And so far, I'm really digging that game a lot. Requiem. Shouldn't that trigger a lot of things? No? That doesn't trigger anything. I tells you, this is so not working out correctly. Yeah, the Evil Sect was like my training project. When I understood the ropes with the first sect enough, I wanted to restart. And the Evil Sect is still a lot of experimentation, but already a lot more knowledge about the game itself. But the whole mid and late game mechanics I was completely blind towards too, so it's a really, really good series for beginners that don't want to mess around with all that late game shenanigans too much, because I had no clue about that. In the newest series, I'm already working way harder towards the mid and late game during the early game, because you can do so many things from the scratch. Goblet of Trials is full. Sadly, 5Piece, you came a little bit late tonight because it's already pretty close to ending of the stream. But I do streams daily, 10 PM UTC +2, just like in the schedule below. Usually I would say drop this channel a follow. Well, if there's anybody lurking who's not following yet, I do daily streams. Siralim is only one of those, and I'd be more than happy to see you guys for tomorrow's stream again. So that was our Doombringer. I really liked that one. I hope you guys did as well. And I'd say good night or good afternoon, good whatever it is in your region. Thank you so much for hanging around and being good company tonight again. Special thanks to Joe for his never-ending generosity here. You are really awesome, mate. And of course, special thanks to all of you hanging around and making these streams so worthwhile. I really, really enjoy your company. Well, Joe, that's what you have to deal with. That's what happens if you throw the dimes at me. Good night, everybody. It has been a blast. See you all tomorrow. Good night.